For as long as we have sailed the seas, we have depended on maps. They are a promise etched in paper, a promise that over the horizon, beyond the endless blue, land awaits. They are our guide through the unknown, our shield against the vast, empty void. But what happens when the promise is broken? What happens when the map lies? For centuries, sailors, explorers, and entire nations have sworn by islands that appeared on charts, vividly described, strategically located, only to vanish from the earth entirely, as if they were never there. These are the ocean's great ghosts, the Phantom Islands. Today, we explore three of the strangest disappearances in history. One, a political conspiracy wrapped in oil and espionage. Another, a 200-year-old ghost of the North Atlantic. And the last, a digital phantom that haunted Google Maps itself. Our first stop is the Gulf of Mexico, a region of simmering turquoise waters and untold riches. Here, off the northern coast of the Yucatan Peninsula, old maps from the Age of Discovery mark a small, lonely island called Bermeja. Spanish cartographers were the first to record it. Alonso de Santa Cruz's 1539 chart of the region clearly shows a reddish, rocky island. Its name, Bermeja, literally means vermilion. For over 4 centuries, it appeared in atlases and on naval charts, a tiny but accepted fact of geography, standing guard over the Gulf. Yet by the late 1990s, when Mexico needed it most, Bermeja was gone. The story of its modern disappearance begins not with explorers, but with lawyers. In 1997, Mexico and the United States were deep in negotiations to define their maritime border and divide the immense oil and gas wealth hidden beneath the seabed in a region known as the Western Polygon, or the Donut Holes. The location of Bermeja was critical. If it existed, it would extend Mexico's exclusive economic zone by hundreds of square miles, giving the nation claim over an estimated 22 billion barrels of oil. It was a $1 trillion island. So the Mexican Navy sent ships to verify its coordinates. They arrived at the location marked on their charts and found nothing. Just 50 meters of open water. Sonar scans revealed no seamount, no sunken landmass. Nothing. Panic set in. In 2009, the National Autonomous University of Mexico launched its own high-tech expedition. Again, nothing. The island that had been on maps since the 16th century had utterly vanished. How? The theories split into 2 camps, science and conspiracy. The scientific explanation is mundane but possible. Cartographers in the 16th century made mistakes. Perhaps Bermeja was a simple mapping error, a phantom created by a clerical slip that was copied from map to map for centuries. Or maybe a small, low-lying island simply succumbed to erosion, crumbling beneath rising sea levels and violent hurricanes. But the conspiracy is far more seductive. Whispers grew louder in the halls of Mexico City. Had foreign powers, specifically the CIA, intentionally erased it? The theory goes that the island was secretly blown up, dynamited off the face of the earth to redraw the maritime borders in America's favor. Was a $1 trillion oil claim the motive for the greatest geographical cover-up of the century? To this day, satellite scans, sonar, and flyovers show nothing where Bermeja once stood. Just open water and an unshakable, deeply political mystery. From the warm Gulf, we travel north, into the frigid, fog-choked waters between Iceland and Greenland. Here lies the legend of a ghost that haunted sailors for 200 years, Buss Island. Our story begins in 1578. The English explorer Martin Frobisher, on his 3rd expedition searching for the fabled Northwest Passage to Asia, was sailing home in his ship, a small vessel called a Buss. One of his captains reported spotting land where no land should be. He described a large, fertile island stretching for miles, with a high central peak and shores rich with seals and fish. Frobisher, believing it to be a new discovery for England, named it Buss Island. The discovery was a sensation. For the next 2 centuries, Buss Island appeared on every major European map. It was drawn by legendary cartographers like Mercator and Hondius. Explorers searched for it. Traders plotted their routes around it. It became a fixed point in the mental landscape of the North Atlantic. A perfect, life-saving stop for sailors on the treacherous journey to the New World. And yet, a strange problem emerged. No one ever truly landed there again. Voyage after voyage set out to find it. They would sail to its exact coordinates, the very spot marked on their trusted charts, and find nothing but endless, churning waves. By 1745, after countless failed attempts, the truth became undeniable. The British Admiralty, the most powerful naval authority in the world, quietly removed Buss Island from all official charts. A place once believed to exist had simply vanished. So what was it? Modern researchers have a compelling theory: an optical illusion. Frobisher's crew may have experienced a complex, superior mirage, a fata morgana, where atmospheric conditions can make land beyond the horizon appear closer and distorted. They may have been seeing the coast of Greenland through thick fog, misjudging its location by hundreds of miles. But other theories persist. Some believe Buss Island was real, a volcanic island that collapsed into the sea in a massive eruption, or a low-lying piece of land built on glacial deposits from the last ice age, which finally sank as sea levels rose after the Little Ice Age. Unlike Bermeja, no conspiracy surrounds Buss Island. It leaves behind only a deep, unsettling feeling. It is a story of how the ocean can play tricks on our eyes and our maps, creating a ghost that haunted the world's greatest explorers for generations. The stories of Bermeja and Buss Island feel ancient, born from an era of handwritten maps and primitive navigation. We might think that in our modern world of GPS, satellite imaging, and Google Earth, such mysteries are impossible. We would be wrong. Let's journey to the Coral Sea, between Australia and New Caledonia. For over a decade, on the world's most used digital map, Google Earth, there existed a small black sliver of land named Sandy Island, or in French, Île de Sable. It wasn't a new discovery. The island had appeared on hydrographic charts since at least 1908. It was a recorded fact, present in global coastline databases used by scientists and sailors worldwide. In November 2012, an Australian research vessel, the RV Southern Surveyor, was on a mission in the area. The scientists on board noticed Sandy Island on their charts and on Google Maps, and became curious. They decided to take a detour to investigate. As they approached the island's coordinates, they stared at their navigation screens, then at the horizon. The screens showed they were sailing over land. The horizon showed nothing but deep blue water. They sailed directly over the supposed island. The ship's echo sounder, which measures ocean depth, never wavered. It recorded a continuous depth of over 1,400 meters, the abyss. When they returned, they announced their undiscovery. Sandy Island did not exist, and never had. Google swiftly erased the digital ghost from its maps, leaving a blank space where an island had been just days before. The explanation? It was almost certainly a human error, perhaps a 19th century whaling ship that misidentified a massive floating pumice raft from an underwater volcano, which was then recorded as an island. Once in the database, the error was copied for over a century, surviving all the way into the digital age. Sandy Island proves that our modern maps are only as reliable as the old data they are built on. So what ties these three islands together? Bermeja, the center of a political conspiracy. Buss Island, a ghost born of fog and ambition. And Sandy Island, a digital error that survived for a century. Each one tells us something different about our relationship with the world. They show that maps are not just a reflection of reality, but of our beliefs, our mistakes, and our desires. An island can be born from a pen stroke, a mirage, or a database error. And its death can come from a quiet deletion, a geological collapse, or something far more deliberate. The ocean hides its secrets well. It is a world of immense pressure, tectonic shifts, and constant change. Small islands can collapse from erosion or seismic activity, vanishing below sea level in the blink of an eye. But these stories also force us to confront a more unsettling truth. Even in the 21st century, with satellites mapping every inch of our planet, the world is not as known as we think. The truth may be resting just below the surface or hidden in plain sight as an era we've trusted for generations. And as we continue to map the oceans more precisely than ever before, one question lingers. How many more islands have vanished without anyone noticing? And how many more are still out there on our maps waiting to be undiscovered?